Good morning and welcome to Miriam's Manor. I am Miriam. So I want to say really quick to you guys, Happy New Year, because this is my first time seeing you in the new year. So I hope you all had a very beautiful, wonderful Christmas season and New Year celebration. So I'm kicking this year off still with another Christmas Village video because I always make sure to plan ahead to next year's village before I take this year's village down. So my village is right behind me. I'm going to be taking that down this week. And I have mapped out and done a rough sketch of how I want my layout to be for this year's 2021 Christmas village. So I've decided to incorporate a zoo this year, and I'm really excited because this is a project that I've been wanting to do for about 2 years, but just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. So this is my year. So I've started working on that zoo platform, which I will be dropping that video for you guys soon. But today I need to make ground covering for my zoo platform. So this is what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today. So this is a very super simple, easy project. Anyone can do it. So all you need are some dried leaves. Now I put the leaves in my blender because I don't want to crush these by hand, but if you don't want to use your appliances, you can absolutely just crush them up with your hands. You will need wax paper, paint, and a mixing bowl to mix the paint and the leaves in. And as you can see, this is my standard craft bowl. I always use this particular bowl solely for mixing my ground covering. And if I forgot to mention, you will also need a craft stick just for mixing, or even if you have like a plastic spoon or knife or something like that, just to mix the paint and the leaves up with. So this is so super simple and easy. So let's go ahead and get started so I can show you guys how to make this. First, I'm going to start by mixing my leaves in my blender. So this is about the consistency that I like to blend my leaves to. Next, I'm going to take my bowl and pour my paint into the bowl first before I put the dried leaves in. Okay, so from here, all I'm going to do is just take these leaves and pour them in my bowl and mix this up. I just realized I forgot to show you guys how much paint I used. So the bowl was filled just barely to about there with paint. And even when you pour it in, if you find that you don't have good coverage, just add a little bit more paint as you mix. So you can the goal is just to make sure all of it gets covered with paint. And then just dump this out onto your wax paper and then spread it out with your stick. Okay, so it's gonna look a little bit clumpy right now, and that's perfectly fine because you're gonna let this set and completely dry. It probably takes about 4 to 6 hours to completely dry. And then I'm going to come back and kind of crush this up with my hands and crush it into a little bit more finer pieces. So this is what you want it to look like when it is setting and drying. Now I am moving on to my brown, and as you can see, I've barely filled up the bottom portion of this bowl with brown paint. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing and pour my leaves into my brown paint. Now for this one, I used a little bit less paint than I did with the green because I want some of the leaf color to stay kind of that yellowishy color mixed in with the brown. I think it's going to give me a more natural look and what I'm going for my ground covering for the walk paths. All right. And just spread this out. So this is how my brown turned out. As you can see, I still have some of the natural color of the leaves shining through, looking like gold little flecks. This is exactly what I was going for, so I'm very satisfied with the way this turned out. So I've got my green and my brown. I am going to let these dry for a couple of hours and come back and check on them and see if they're ready for me to mix and crunch into smaller pieces. Okay, so far it has been an hour and my green is still very much damp, so I'm not gonna touch that one. But because I put a lot less paint in the brown, it's a tiny bit damp, but it's good enough for me to work with. So I'm gonna go ahead and crunch this up. So to make these finer pieces, you can either rub this between your fingertips and your thumb, or what I actually like to do is get a big handful and rub it between both of my hands and allow the pieces to fall through. The ground cover is much more fine at this point than what it was when we started. Now there are still some twigs in here that you can either pick out or leave in depending on how you like the look of your ground cover. So if you don't want any of your stems in your ground cover, you can just take a sifter and sift the pieces through. That way what ends up on your wax paper are just the finer pieces and not any of the stems. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and find it useful. Please like, subscribe, and share if you haven't done so already. And also, just to let you know some videos that I've got coming up within the next 4 weeks. As I take my Christmas village down behind me, I will be doing a video on that because I've received several comments in the last 4 months asking how do I store all of this stuff away. So I will show you my process and how I take this down. I also will be releasing the zoo within the next few weeks. And then around the second week of February, I will be seeding for my spring garden. So that's what's going to be coming up in the next 4 weeks or so. So definitely click on that notification bell if you guys don't want to miss any of those upcoming videos. And until I see you again, stay safe, God bless you, and I will see you soon. Bye.